Okay, so last lesson we did 209 and 210, and we ran out of time and we didn't get to finish 211, 212, but you need to get that out now, 211, 212, and we'll get started on it on page 211. Okay, 211 tells us to mark under the numbers that are divisible by 9. And remember the rule, to know if something is divisible by 9, you got to add up the digits and figure out what the sum of the digits are, and then see if 9 goes into that. So we take 8 plus 7 plus 3. 8 plus 7 is 15, plus 3 more is 18. Does 9 go into 18 evenly? Yes, it does. So we know that we know that 873 is divisible by 9. Okay, next one. 108. Let's add that up. 1 plus 0 plus 8 is 9. Does 9 go into 108? Yes. Okay, the next one. 324. 3 plus 2 is 5, plus 4 more is 9. Does 9 go into 9? Yes. So we know that 9 goes into 324. $518. 5 plus 1 is 6, plus 8 more is 14. Does 9 go into 14 evenly? No, it does not, so we're not going to fill in that one. 299. 2 plus 9 is 11, plus 9 more would be 20. Does 9 go into 20 evenly? No, so we're not going to fill out that one either. Let's go ahead and move down to number 2. 2 says to reduce by dividing each term by 9. So this is kind of cool because they've told us what it's divisible by here. We're going to divide both the top and bottom numbers by 9. So in A, 18 divided by 9 is 2. And 27 divided by 9 is 3. And so we just reduced it to 2/3. B, 54. 9 goes into 54 6 times. And 63, 9 goes into 63 7 times. So we get 6 sevenths. 6 sevenths. C, we have 117. 9 goes into 117 13 times. And 9 goes into 153 17 times. So we reduced it to 13/17. Okay, 3A, it's telling us to divide and check, and we'll do that together now. 35 does not go into 1. It does not go into 14. But it does go into 147. Now 35 is kind of in the middle of 30 and 40. I'm going to imagine that here it's a 40 or a 30, either one. And I'm going to ask myself, well, if I were to cover up some numbers here, if I were to say how many times does 3 go into 14? I know it goes in 4 times. So let's try a 4. And remember, we're just estimating. And it might be right, it might be wrong, but it will be close. So over to the side, we've got to work it out. 35 times 4. 4 times 5 is 20. 4 times 3 is 12, plus 2 more is 14. And so we get 140, which is going to be perfect here. it'll work. 140. Subtract, we get 7. Bring down our 0, and we get 70. And now we ask ourselves, how many times does 35 go into 70? Goes in 2 times. And 35 times 2 is 70, so it goes in evenly here, without a remainder. We need to check it now. 42 times 35. 5 times 2 is 10. 5 times 4 is 20, plus 1 more would be 21. Let's put a 0 here. 3 times 2 is 6. 3 times 4 is 12. I'm going to add up my numbers. I get 1,470. So that's the same as the number that I started with there, so it checks. And our answer of 42 is correct. B, 61 does not go into 5, does not go into 51. 61 does go into 512. Okay, let's cover up some numbers here to estimate how much. Okay, let's cover up our 1 and our 2. Covering up our last numbers that we're working with. And we ask ourselves, how many times does 6 go into 51? Well, I know that 6 times 8 is 48, so I think that's as close as we can come. Let's go ahead and try 61 times 8. Remember, it might be right, it might be wrong, but it will be close. 8 times 1 is 8. 8 times 6 is 48. We get 488. That looks like it's going to work, and we'll find out after we subtract if that does work. Okay, 2 minus 8 you can't do, so we need to borrow from the 1. 12 minus 8 gives us 4. 0 minus 8 we can't do, so we got to borrow from the 5. 10 minus 8 we get 2. So 24, and that's less than our 61, so we're doing good. Let's bring down our 4. How many times does 61 go into 244? Let's cover up numbers again. How many times does 6 go into 24? 6 goes into 24 4 times. Might be right, might be wrong, but it will be close. Let's try our 4. 61 times 4. 1 times 4 is 4. 4 times 6 is 24. And look, not only is it close, but it's also perfect, right on the money. Exactly the amount. So we're saying 84 without a remainder. We need to check it now. 84 times 61. 4 times 1 is 4. 1 times 8 is 8. Put our 0. 6 times 4 is 24. 6 times 8 is 48. Plus 2 is 50. Let's add our partial products up. 4 plus 0 is 4. 8 plus 4 is 12. 1 plus 0 is 1. Since this number is the same as the number we started with there, it checks. And our answer of 84 is correct. C. 89 does not go into 2. 89 does not go into 20. But 89 does go into 204. So we know our first number is going to be above the 4. How many times, now before we do that, before I say that, what I was about to say, 89 is really close to 90. So in estimating, let's ask ourselves how many times does, instead of 8, let's say how many times does 9 go into 20? 9 goes into 20 2 times. So now, let's go ahead and do our 89 times 2. 2 times 9 is 18. 2 times 8 is 16. Plus 1 more is 17. 178. We have to borrow. That's what I'm doing already. I'm going to borrow from the 10 now. Comes a 9. 14 minus 8 gives us 6. 9 minus 7 gives us 2. 1 minus 1 is nothing. So we get 26. As long as that's smaller than 89, we're doing good, and we are there. I'm going to bring down the 7. Now, how many times does... Now remember we talked about this being kind of like a 90 for estimating. How many times does 9 go into 26? Well, remember the rule. It might be right, it might be wrong. It will be close. Now, 9 goes into 26 2 times. But it's actually going to be 3, which is close. So I'll save you the work here. And we'll do 3 times 89. 3 times 9 is 27. 3 times 8 is 24, plus 2 more is 26. Ends up being right, they say right on the money. Again, 0. And so our answer is 23. Before I circle it though, let's check it. 89 times 23. 3 times 9 is 27. 3 times 8 is 24, plus 2 more is 26. 2 times 9 is 18. 2 times 8 is 16, plus 1 more is 17. We add it up. 7 plus 0 is 7. 6 plus 8 is 14. 1 plus 2 is 3, plus 7 would be 10. 1 plus 1 is 2. 247 is the answer. 2047 is the same as the number there, so it checks. And our answer is actually 23. 23 is the answer. For A tells us to write the remainders as fractions. 9 does not go into 2, but it does go into 28 3 times. 3 times 9 is 27. Subtract, I get 1. It said to write the remainder as a fraction, so the 1 goes on top, and that 9 goes on the bottom. So we get 3 and 1/9. 9 goes into 44. We know that 9 times 4 is 36, 9 times 5 is 45, so we got to do 4. 9 times 4 is 36. Subtract and you get 8. So 4 and, remember, the 8 goes on top there, and this 9 goes on the bottom. 4 and 8/9. C. 9 does not go into 6, but it does go into 65. 9 times 7 is 63. Subtract, you get 2. So the 2 goes on top, and the 9 goes on the bottom. And you get 7 and 2/9. D. 9 goes into 30 3 times. 9 times 3 is 27. So your remainder is going to be 3 ninths. 3 and 3 ninths. Now, something we need to do here is 3 ninths can be reduced. 3 goes into 3 one time, 3 goes into 9 3 times. So our answer is 3 and 1/3. E. 9 goes into 15 one time. 1 times 9 is 9. Subtract, you get 6. And so our answer is 1 and 6 ninths. But similar to the last problem, we need to reduce again. 3 goes into 6 2 times, 3 goes into 9 3 times. And our answer is 1 and 2/3. F. 7 does not go into 3, but it does go into 37. 7 times 5 is 35. Subtract, you get 2. And so it's 5 and 2/7. And that's already reduced, so we can circle that. Our answer is 5 and 2/7. G. 5 goes into 28 5 times. 5 times 5 is 25. Subtract, you get 3. So it's 5 and 3/5. H. 4 goes into 26 6 times. 4 times 6 is 24. Subtract and you get 2. So 6 and 2/4. But that can be reduced. 2 goes into both 2 and 2 goes into 4. 2 goes into 2 one time, 2 goes into 4 2 times. And our answer is 6.5. I. 8 goes into 35 4 times, because 8 times 4 is 32. Subtract and you get 3. So our answer is 4 and 3/8. J. How many times does 6 go into 20? 3 times. 3 times 6 is 18. Subtract and you get 2. So we get 3 and 2/6, which can be reduced. What goes into 2 and 6? 2 does. 2 goes into 2 one time, 2 goes into 6 3 times. And our answer is 3 and 1/3. 3 and 1/3. (5a). Suppose that 9 shepherds were watching 1,332 sheep the night that Jesus was born. How many sheep would each shepherd have to watch if they watched the same number? And so what you're going to do is you're going to divide 9 into 1,332. And whatever you get will be your answer there. Then B asks us, there are about 6,000 stars that are visible to the unaided eye. So without a telescope or anything, we can see about 6,000 stars. About 600 stars can be seen with the telescope with a lens that is 3 inches in diameter. How many more stars can be seen with this telescope than without? So to solve this one, you need to take your bigger number. This is how many can be seen with a telescope. And subtract the number that can be seen without a telescope. And that's going to give you your answer. Okay, number 6. 6 tells us to write the value of 9. So for 6a, the value of the 9 there is 9 million. So we'll write 9 million, just like this. 9 million is 9 and 6 zeros. Remember, your comma goes every 3 spots. So there's a comma there, and then 3 spots later, there's another comma there. 9 million, just like that. B, the 9 here is your 10,000s. So we need to write 90,000. Again, my comma was 3 places over. C, the 9 is the second number in, so we just simply write 90. So A was 9 and 6 zeros, B was 9 and 5 zeros, and C was 9 with 1 zero. Okay, number 7, we have to write the missing terms. 6 times what is 54? 6 times 9. B, 9 plus what would be 14? 9 plus 5 would be 14. C's a tricky one. What over 8 equals 8? Well, we know that 8 over 8 would equal 1. When you double that, 16 over 8 would equal 2. 24 over 8 would equal 3. 32 over 8 would equal 4. Let's double 4 to find out what 8 would be. 32 plus 32. 64 over 8 would equal 8. Because 8 goes into 64. This 8 goes into 64 8 times. Hopefully I didn't make that more confusing, but 64 is the answer for C. D, let's add these up. 7 plus 5 is 12. Plus 3 more would be 15. Well, then what else would need to be added to give us 21? 15 plus what is 21? 15 plus 6. E, 31 minus what would be 16? 31 minus 15 would be 16. For number 8, it tells us to shade the circles to show that 8/4 equals 2. And so all that you need to do is fill in all the circles that we have here. We fill in all 8 parts. So right now I'm filling in 4 of the parts. Trying to stay in the lines. You do a better job than me on your paper, please. And then, so that's 4. Now I got to fill in the other 4 to fill out 8. So fill in both circles for you. Do an even better job than I did. Because 8/4 would be all 8 parts filled in of both of these circles that have fourths. Okay, and then 9, it's telling us to divide the amount by 9. I'm going to help you figure out what amount we have here. I always start with the biggest bill first. So we have $20 plus the $10. I guess I might cross it out so I don't get confused. I did the 20, I did the 10, I'll do the 5 now. Plus $5. My 2/4 is 50 cents plus 5 more would be 55 cents. And so I need to add all that up. And I get $35.55. what you guys need to do is you need to divide it by 9, and whatever you get will be your answer. Okay, go ahead and do the rest on your own, which is the story problems and this, and you guys are almost done. Hopefully I made it easy on you, helping you with most of it today. Hey, you guys deserve it. You're amazing kids.